Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Taylor and today I'm going to be doing a little March wrap up. I'm just going to go through all of the books I read this month, give you my ratings and my reviews and everything like that. So let's just go ahead and get on into it. Alright, so the first book that I read this month was Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This book follows Nash and Lena. It is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. I love Lucy Score's writing, especially when there's a bit of a mystery involved, because throughout this one, not only is it a romance, but it kind of goes in and is trying a like whodunit kind of plot, you know what I mean? So that's really interesting. I love all of her characters and I love how they work together to get things done. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one and I would highly recommend it. The second book I read in March was Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. This book was really interesting. It's very different from anything I've ever read before. This book is following Rory, who is having a little bit of an identity crisis. I don't think it's much of a spoiler because you can see it on here, but it kind of is a bit of a werewolf story, which is very different for me. Personally, I don't usually tend to read these kinds of stories. I gave this one a 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite. It was pretty fast paced and it's pretty short, which is good, but again, it's just really different from what I normally read, so I think that's kind of where it fell a bit flat for me. The third book I read this month was Icebreaker, and I do have a vlog reading this book. I actually really enjoyed this book. It's like a pretty quick and easy read, pretty fast paced. This book follows Anastasia and Nathan, or Nate, however you want to say it. He goes by both. And basically, Anastasia is an ice skater and Nate is on the hockey team, and they end up having to share a little rink in order to practice and everything. And yeah, I don't know how else to really explain it without spoiling it, so I'm not going to go much further into detail on the story, but I would highly recommend this one. I rated it a 4 star as well, so definitely highly recommend this one. I know it's also controversial and some people really don't like this book, but I personally, I ate it up, so I would recommend. The fourth book I read in the month of March was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This book, it got me good. It got me good. I was not expecting it. I'm not a huge thriller reader, if I'm being honest. They usually just stress me out, so I tend to stay away from the genre. But this book, it put me on. I highly recommend this one. The twist had my jaw on the floor. And you might be thinking, really? It was a little predictable. Once again, I don't read this genre. I'm not a mystery thriller girly. Anyways, this book follows Millie. She starts working for this family as a little housemaid. She stays up in this little attic area, and yeah, I can't really say much more. But you probably already read it because everybody has, but if you haven't, read it. Super good. Also, I don't think I mentioned, but I rated it 4 stars. Super good. So the fifth book I read this month was Lightlark by Alex Astor, and I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. Wasn't my favorite, if I'm being honest. I liked the concept, but I just don't feel like it was done in the best way it possibly could have been, if you know what I mean. Like, I think it could have been done a lot better. With that being said, the last like 100 pages or so, those blew my socks off. I couldn't stop reading. But up until that point, it was kind of dragging. So I'm going to read the little blurb because I don't really know how to explain this book better than it explains itself. So this says, welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game. where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler will die. To survive, Ilo Crown must lie, cheat, betray, even as love complicates everything. So this book is a love triangle trope, so beware of that if you don't like it. But I usually don't like it, and I actually ate this love triangle. I ate it right up. I don't know what it was about it, but I actually really enjoyed this one. That part was done very well, but the rest of it was just a little confusing in my opinion. But that's just me, so I don't know. I recommend it, but only for reasons you will see in just a moment. Alright, so the 6th book I read this month was Bane by Alex Astor. It is the 2nd book next to Lightlark. This book was so good. I don't know why this one was so much better than the first one, but this one blew the first one out of the water. I gave this 4.5 stars. I flew through it. I'm not going to give you any descriptions on this book because it is the 2nd one in a series and I don't want to accidentally spoil something. So all I'm going to say is this book is worth reading the first one. The 7th book that I read this month was One True Love is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book broke me. It broke me. It did. Reading this, I did not expect it to have the impact that it had on me considering how unrealistic it is. But boy was I wrong, because it hit me. It hit me hard. This book follows Emma Blair, who marries her high school sweetheart, but they end up moving out to California and living their lives and everything's great, sunny, woohoo! But right before their anniversary, he ends up leaving, and his name is Jesse. He ends up leaving to go on a trip, and while he's on his trip, helicopter goes down. He's no longer. So she thinks. So couple weeks, she moves back to her hometown, does her thing. She meets somebody, ends up falling in love, yada yada. I don't want to spoil anything, but the first line of this kind of gives all of this stuff away, so I'm not spoiling it. But she ends up getting engaged, and then what do you know? Ring ring, Jesse calls. Hey, I'm alive. What? I know. That's what I thought too. I know, crazy, but this book is a whirlwind. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know who to root for. I didn't know what to do. So I gave this one 4.5 stars. I really loved it. I almost gave it 5 stars, but it just didn't have that 5-star feeling, so I didn't, but it was very close. Very close. I would highly recommend this one, and I personally didn't think I was gonna like this because some of TJR's writing just kind of bores me, but I loved this one. Loved. So I would highly recommend this one, and on to the next book. The 8th book I read this month was Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. I just wanted pain, apparently. I don't know what I was thinking, but this book, I thoroughly enjoyed this one so much more than the first one. So much more. This gave all of the background I needed in the first book. It made me understand the characters that I didn't like from the first book, and it actually made me like them, which is hard to do. Very hard to do. As you can probably see from the title, follows Magnolia and BJ, and of course it has all of the other side characters and everything in there, but like I said, it gave all of the backstories, which was very necessary in my opinion, and I cannot wait to continue this series. I gave this one 4 stars. I'm gonna bump it up to 4.5. I'm bumping it up to 4.5. Also, Jessa, we need to talk. This one hurt. It did. It hurt me. I shed a couple tears. So, definitely recommend this one. But on to the next book. The 9th book I read this month, which I read a lot this month. If you guys watched my February wrap-up, you probably were like, holy cow, she's read a lot this month, because that's true. I usually read like 6 books. But here I am, on my 9th book of the month. I had The Housemaid Secret by Frida McFadden. Yeah. I'm not going to give you guys too much detail on this, because I do have another video coming out that my thoughts and everything will be included in, but I did just kind of want to throw it in here and show you that I did read it this month. So I'm not going to give you my rating or anything, sorry, but it'll be in a different video, promise. And then the last book that I read this month, I'm also not giving you my thoughts on this one because I'm also putting it in the video that I was talking about with The Housemaid Secret. So the last book I read was The Island by Natasha Preston. The one thing I will say, this book made me so mad. So mad. But yeah, I'm not giving you a rating for that, sorry, but you'll see it in a different video. I am still reading in this month though, because it is the 29th, so I will probably finish another book, maybe 2, if I'm quick, but we'll see. I'm currently reading The Inmate by Frida McFadden, and then I think I'm going to read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter after that as a little palette cleanser, because I have been reading some thrillers or some mystery thrillers, and I need a palette cleanser. Alright guys, so that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!